Okay, so I know you've probably seen John Wick. You saw how he had that super cool short 12 gauge AR looking thing, mag fed 12 gauge, looks sick, and you're in the state of California and you're thinking, I want that. And chances are you then went on Reddit, you went on CalGuns, you went on social media and said, hey, is there a way that I can get this super small 12 gauge in the state of California? And everyone said, no, there's absolutely no possible way. Well, I think I might have cracked the code. We're going to have to go through a lot of legal text, but I'm going to explain to you, first of all, what this thing is, how you can legally get it, what is legal, what's not legal, and the very small path that you might be able to follow to get one of these legally. And I'm going to be working with a SOT and whatnot to make this a possibility in the future. Now, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is more of a thought experiment because right now there's a lot of things that are going to happen that we're going to have to work on to get this to be a reality. So if you see this video, share it with people that are well educated. If you see this video, share it with the companies that manufacture these things so that hopefully we can get them on board with making this a reality in this state. Every time we talk about this kind of thing where it's a niche, narrow loophole to the laws, we really just have to be very clear. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. If you see something in this video and you're interested in it, do your own research. If I'm straight up wrong, let me know and we'll make some corrections and we'll try to move forward with that. So, the Genesis Gen 12. You've probably seen some videos from Grand Thumb, Micah, and various other creators showing these off. Well, in the state of California, there's a very easy way for us to get the mag-fed 12 gauge shotguns full size in the state of California with a fixed magazine. That's pretty easy, but we're talking about the little short boys, the little below 18-inch barrels, the AOWs. So we're going to talk about some definitions. We're going to talk about what it is legally in the state of California, what it is not, and a way for you to actually potentially make this a reality. So I pulled some penal code sections up and we're going to talk about them and talk about why it isn't certain things and why it is other things. So let's look at the definition of a shotgun. Now, you can look these up for yourself. You can find these on the state's website yourself to cross-reference, but a shotgun, as defined in certain sections, a shotgun means a weapon designed, redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder. That's important. Intend to be fired from the shoulder. And designed or redesigned and made or remade to use the energy of explosive in a fixed shotgun shell to fire through a smooth bore. So, shoulderable, designed to be shouldered, smooth bore, fires a shotgun shell. Well, the big ones are obviously a shotgun because they're designed to be shouldered, smooth bore, they shoot shotgun shells. The short boys, the little guys, are not designed to be shouldered. They've never had a stock. You didn't take the stock off and you're not putting a stock on. So it's not designed to be shouldered. So it is not a shotgun. Crazy, right? Fires a shotgun shell is not a shotgun per the state law. Now, as used in this part, firearm capable of being concealed upon the person, pistol and revolver. So, pistol, revolver, firearm capable of being concealed on the person. Basically, it says that it applies to something that fires an expelled a projectile by force of any explosion or other form of combustion, and that has a barrel of less than 16 inches in length. So, if it's got a barrel shorter than 16 inches, it's generally, according to this, going to be a pistol, assuming it was not made from a shotgun or a rifle prior. So, that little short boy would be a pistol. Now, it also says nothing prevents this from also being considered a short-barreled rifle or short-barreled shotgun, which is why it would have to start not as a rifle, start as a stripped receiver if we were going to try to go down this route. Now, the definition of a rifle is basically the same as a shotgun. Weapon designed, redesigned, whatever, remade, intended to be fired from the shoulder, and designed or redesigned and made or remade to use the energy of an explosive in a fixed cartridge to fire only a single projectile through a rifled bore. So, shotgun, smooth bore, fires shotgun shells, fired from the shoulder. Rifle, rifled bore, fires cartridges, fired from the shoulder. Pistol, fires cartridges of fires projectiles with an explosion with a barrel less than 16 inches, and it is not designed to be shouldered, right? So the state of California has a short-barreled shotgun definition, which is separate from the NFA. The NFA, the Federal Gun Control Act, all that jazz, the federal laws are separate. California has our own short-barreled shotgun definition. So Penal Code 1780 says, as used in this part, short-barreled shotgun means any of the following. Firearm that is designed or redesigned to fire a fixed shotgun shell and has a barrel of less than 18 inches in length. That's a problem, right? Because if we want this, we want it to have a barrel shorter than 18 inches. How are we going to work around that? Well, we'll get to that. A firearm that has an overall length of less than 26 inches and that is designed or redesigned to fire a fixed shotgun shell. Well, we also want it under 26 inches. That's a problem. Any weapon made from a shotgun, if that weapon as modified has an overall length less than 26 inches or a barrel or barrels of less than 18 inches in length. So if we just took a shotgun designed to be fired from the shoulder, smooth bore, fires a shotgun shell, and took the stock off and cut the barrel down, that would be a short-barreled shotgun according to the state and the feds. Well, any device readily restored to be that, and then any combination of parts readily convertible, basically, is what D and E mean. But the big parts that we're contending with is barrel length, overall length, and did it start its life as a short-barreled shotgun. Now, Penal Code 16590 says that short-barreled shotguns are banned. It says, as used in this part, generally prohibited weapon means any of the following. It lists a ton of things, but then I just pulled out a short-barreled rifle or short-barreled shotgun. So, what is a short-barreled shotgun? Well, it's one of those things. And then it's banned. Then, Penal Code 33215 says, except as provided in section 33220 and 33225, any person in this state who manufactures, causes to be manufactures, imports into the state, keeps for sale, or offers or exposes for sale benefits any short-barreled rifle or short-barreled shotgun is punishable by imprisonment in county jail. It's illegal to possess one of these, right? Well, there's an any other weapon exemption. So Penal Code 1770 says, as A, the provisions listed in 16590, which is this, saying SBSs are banned, does not apply to any other weapon as defined, and that's the NFA that it's listing here, in the possession of a person permitted to possess the weapons under the Federal Gun Control Act. What this means is, if you have an any other weapon stamp for a firearm, and that firearm is legally an any other weapon, and you're legally allowed to possess it, and it's your stamp, all that jazz, right? You are exempt from the ban on short-barreled shotguns for that specific firearm. Now, the problem is, if we wanted to go this route of getting that short boy, since it is a pistol, we have to deal with the handgun roster, in addition to the assault weapon ban laws. So if we look at Penal Code 30515, Penal Code 30515 is the assault weapon ban based on features, and pistols have a list of features that would make them illegal if they're not a fixed magazine. It would also make it illegal if that fixed magazine pistol had a capacity of over 10 rounds, and that's an issue, right? So even if we can work around the assault weapon ban, the handgun roster still prevents the average person from just going to a gun store and acquiring one and taking one home, right? Well, let's talk about that. Single shot exemptions. Penal Code 32100 says, the sections regarding to the safe handgun roster shall not apply to a single action revolver that has at least a 5 cartridge capacity with a barrel length of not more than 3 inches. Well, this isn't a revolver, right? So that's not really all that relevant. But if we go to section B, it says, shall not apply to a single shot pistol with a break top or a bolt action and a barrel length of not less than 6 inches and that has an overall length of at least 10.5 inches when the handle, frame or receiver, and barrel are assembled. However, it shall still apply to a semi-automatic pistol that has been temporarily or permanently altered so that it will not fire in a semi-automatic mode. This is where we get into the whole conversation of virgin receivers. What we mean by that is, you get a firearm, a lower receiver of any popular pistol. You get a virgin receiver that has never been built into a full gun. You make it single shot with a barrel length of over 6 inches and an overall length of over 10.5 inches. That manufacturer stamps their FFL information on it, and they sell you a single shot exempt pistol, which again this short 12 gauge would be a pistol if we were to go this route, and we're going to talk in just a moment how logistically we could actually go this route. So we've talked about what shotguns are, what rifles are, what pistols are. We determined that this gun that we want, that I've showed you on screen, is a pistol. We've talked about how short-barreled shotguns are banned. We've talked how to work around those with an AOW stamp. We've talked about why handguns are hard to get a hold of if they're not on the handgun roster. Then we talked about how to work around the handgun roster. Well, I wrote out a very brief little flow of how this would actually work for an FFL to get a firearm that is transferable to a private citizen, that is not law enforcement, that is not permitted in varieties of ways. We might have an actual path to success here. So, well, it looks like I left the subscriber notification. So someone on YouTube just subscribed right now. Thank you to everyone that does that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You know, it legitimately helps. Honestly, subscribing is a lot less important than liking videos, because YouTube does this thing where it doesn't like to show people the videos that creators make. But if you like or interact with the comment section frequently, it makes it more likely for those videos to show up. So do that or don't, whatever. Now here's the path to potentially legally acquire one. Now, again, not a lawyer, not legal advice. So you find a gun store with an SOT, an FFL07, and their dangerous weapons permit, which are very few and far between. However, my friend Kyle Manzano, who I'm going to be working at his store periodically in San Jose, he is going to have all these permits. And he was like, yo, can we get, like, is there a way to do this? This seems like we might have a possibility. And I was like, I laughed. I said, no, there's no possible way. And then I dug into it more. So a shop with all of the proper permits could acquire a Virgin Genesis lower receiver, which is basically just a 308 AR-10 lower receiver. However, personally, they say that they can't guarantee all AR-10 lowers will work, so you're probably going to want to go with the Genesis lower. So that SOT, I'm just going to say SOT, that SOT acquires a Virgin Genesis lower. They engrave their FFL information onto that lower. Now, the order of some of these might have to change around because I'm not super well versed on the back end of how they do this, but this is just the general idea. Gun store with the proper permits gets a lower receiver. They mark their FFL information on it. They apply for a tax stamp so that they can turn this gun into any other weapon with an overall length of less than 26 inches and a vertical foregrip on it. I'm going to put that on here. Plus VFG. So when you have a firearm that fires a smooth bore or whatever, you make it below 26 inches after you get the stamp. You put a vertical foregrip on it, and it's never had a stock, and you don't put a stock on it. It's now not designed to be fired with one hand. It is in any other weapon according to the feds. Now, that exempts it from the state's SBR laws. Great. While they're doing that, they also make it a single-shot bolt action. Now, it's a pistol, according to the state assault weapon ban laws and according to the state firearm laws, and it's an AOW according to the feds, because it's chambered in 12 gauge, and we're likely going to have to use some sort of zero-round sled or some sort of other way to make it so that the action does not cycle and load a new round. So we make a fixed zero-round sled that goes into the mag and cannot come out until you disassemble the action. It's fixed at 0 rounds. You then are exempt from the handgun roster because, again, we would likely be going with like a 7-inch barrel, which a 7-inch barrel on a shotgun or on a pistol like this that fires shotgun shells would be over 10.5-inch overall length. So at that point, it's exempt from the assault weapon ban laws because it is fixed magazine and because it's not semi-auto, it's single shot. So the gun that they have now is a single shot, bolt action, fixed mag, any other weapon. It's a lot of words, right? The FFL, the SOT, right, that can legally possess these, can now do a Form 4 transfer to the customer who files the stamp for $5. That's going to be the cheapest part of all of this. I do not expect this process, if it comes to fruition, to be cheap by any means of the word. It's going to be costly. But that FFL can now do a Form 4 transfer to a customer. Form 4s right now seemingly are taking a couple days. We'll see how it actually pans out in the future, but it is seeming like they're pretty quick. The customer would then be in possession of a firearm that is 12 gauge. It has a 6-inch or greater barrel and an overall length above 10.5 inches. But since it has a vertical foregrip and an overall length below 26 inches, it is a federally legal AOW, which exempts you from the state SBR laws. It has a fixed 0-round sled in it, meaning the magazine has a capacity of 0 and it is fixed in place. Now, this gun is a pistol for the state assault weapon ban, which is why we had to go fixed magazine. This gun is an AOW per the NFA, which works around the SBR laws. This gun is not a shotgun per the state law because it is a pistol, because it has a barrel of less than 16 inches and has never had a stock, so it's not designed to be fired from the shoulder. It's designed to be fired with 2 hands. The customer can then choose to evaluate the legality of converting a single shot to semi-auto after they take the firearm home, which some people feel comfortable with doing, some people don't. You're going to have to evaluate the safe handgun roster laws, but a lot of people are doing this all the time. Not a lawyer, not legal advice, but the way the state words it on their website, that is not law, that is not part of the actual penal code or any sort of guidelines. They say, conversion of a single shot exempt firearm may be considered manufacturing a unsafe handgun. However, using that logic, making any modification to any handgun would be considered making an unsafe handgun. So I'm not personally of the opinion that that's really something to be concerned with, but feel free to let me know down below if you are. If they then make it semi-auto, they must retain the fixed mag and never have a mag larger than 10 rounds inserted into this pistol. So, it seems as if there is a potential to actually legally get a hold of the Genesis AOWs. Now, they recently announced this at a show. I think TFB TV did a video on it saying that they're going to have factory available AOWs. It wouldn't be all that hard for them to offer the lowers to these SOTs. The SOT does some work. The SOT fills some paperwork out, and then the customer fills out a little bit more paperwork and takes that gun home. So, I think that there's an actual argument to be made that these firearms can be had legally. Anyways, let me know what you think down below. Would you ever think about acquiring one of these? Are you interested in this? Was this informative to you? Are you confused? If you are, feel free to just let me know down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.